Welcome back, YouTubers, to our TNA Final Resolution review of us, the British Fist.
Coaching!
Mr. Parkin here, nursing a little bit of a cold, but this guy sitting next to me, perfect as always. It's none other than NJ, who thinks today that he is the Rock.
What's up?
And I think NJ could definitely be a main event draw for a Rumble, don't you think, NJ?
Oh, yes.
Of course you were going to say that about yourself. Subscribe above, like this video, and comment any thoughts you have on this pay-per-view down in the comment section below.
And make sure you contact us in the links in the description box below.
Wait, you said that incredibly nice and slowly.
I needed to, yes.
When you're nice and slow and deliberate, you say things so much better.
That's what I've realised.
Indeed. And we just want to make you aware of a video we're putting out tomorrow. It's got something to do with this review. We're going to be putting out a video tomorrow entitled Why We Feel the Aces and Eights Are Losing Steam. So go check that video out tomorrow. And the usual Raw rundown will be done on Tuesday. But for right now, we'll get down to this Final Resolution pay-per-view. We opened up with... It seemed like an Impact opener, didn't it? We had James Storm and Kaz promo segment. It went on for quite a while. The crowd were somewhat into it. But it just, to me, felt like another way of getting James Storm last minute on the card. It kind of felt to me like WWE filler match booking.
This was pretty much predictable that was going to happen because you're not really going to have Storm, who's probably going to be going to AJ or the champion at the end of this pay-per-view. And then you have Kazarian, who, again, he's not as brilliant or as involved as Daniels, but he still needs to have some involvement. So this match was predictable. The match itself, it weren't great. We all knew that Kazarian never wins matches on his own, so this match just went straight down with Storm winning.
He did beat AJ Styles earlier this year, and yeah, but apparently James Storm has an injury, which is why this match probably wasn't that great, but it got Storm on the card, it got Storm a win. It was just last-minute WWE booking, really. RVD versus Kenny King was our X Division Championship match. You know, going in, you've got Kenny King and RVD, who were two very good workers in the ring, you would say, but this match, to me, never really, especially for an X Division match, which you expect to be high-flying, fast action, never really got out of first gear. Don't know why, don't know what happened, whether there was some nasty injuries during the match, whether it was lack of communication, whether RVD wasn't motivated. I don't know what it was, but this match went 9.5 minutes, and it just never really got out of first gear.
I don't think, when it comes to X Division kind of style matches, yes, we have Roode and Dam as our champion, but he's not as good as the past X Division matches. It's like Aries versus someone, Kenny King versus Dutt or someone like that. Yeah. They're more flowing, more actively moving. This match, I didn't feel it was that great, but for an X Division, at least it was on the card, but it was just like the first match, you could predict who was going to win. Yeah,
I mean, they gave no build to Kenny King here. You knew RVD was going to win, and, you know, it really was anticlimactic. You kind of knew RVD was going to win, even though I thought he was going to win via 5-star Frog Splash, but never did.
No, the way it finished, yes, it made you feel that Kenny King, oh, he's going to pick up the win here, but as soon as he didn't get to hit his move that he did, I thought, it's finished it, over, and Rotterdam gets the win via roll-up. So, no chance of a rematch, because Rotterdam's beat him, so stupid.
And to be honest, it's got to the point now where the X Division just hasn't got much talent in it now, so who does RVD face next for the X Division Championship?
Sorensen!
Well, Sorensen may be coming back, but I don't know. We had an interview segment with Christopher Daniels where he said that history is written by the victors, and basically Daniels is painting the picture. That's not hyperbole, though. That is fact. The fact that AJ Styles has pretty much beaten him at pretty much every pay-per-view he's been at. You know what I mean?
With the fact that I like Daniel has all his confidence. He's even had it, even after losing to AJ so many times. So when he comes to his promos, you do feel a lot about him. And this promo was pretty good. But at this moment in time, we all thought he's just been to be a failure by the end. Yeah, and later we won't really talk about the match, but we will talk about the finish and where that could lead.
Next we had the Tag Team Championship match, Chavo Hernandez versus Joey Ryan and Matt Morgan. You know, I guess the only real person I was interested in here was Matt Morgan. I was really interested to see how they were going to book him here.
With Matt Morgan, yes, because obviously with him, I'm more behind him and probably his career moving upwards than Joey Ryan. With this, again, yes, I did predict new tag team champions just because I felt that Morgan and Joey Ryan have more of a direction in their careers and future.
Chavo Hernandez haven't really been great champions.
No, so it was a bit of a shame that it didn't happen. But as we realise as the rest of the show goes on, this pay-per-view weren't really as important as the future one, so that's why we got the finish of this match.
Indeed, and it seemed like this was going to continue on to Genesis, possibly. The DQ finish came when Matt Morgan pulled out the referee. It's never really been DQ'd before, but there we go. And then we have, you know, I would have been fine if they made Matt Morgan look dominant here. Like, they made him take out Chavo. Then they had Hernandez fly over the top rope and take him out. And I do think that, despite the fact he's in the tag team feud right now, Morgan needs a main event push in 2013. A guy his size to not be in the main event, to me, is just colossal.
I do feel that the emphasis was on Matt Morgan. Him pulling out the referee, not hitting the ref, just pulling it out a DQ. Stupid way to finish. If Matt Morgan pulled him out, then hit the ref, then a DQ. So it's a bit of a bad finish, but I do feel that Matt Morgan's hopefully going to, as the next year goes on, start branching towards the feud with Hogan / main event scene.
I would hope so too. Now, the first 3 matches to me, it just never really got out of gear, this show, in the first 2 matches, because the first 3 matches got no interview time, no video packages. It just didn't really feel like an important start of the show. The show really started off slowly, and that lack of interview time and lack of video packages for those matches really didn't help the importance of these pay-per-view matches.
All I'll say with these matches, they did, I think all 3 of them almost like came out of nowhere, like last minute build. So I guess they put the matches that don't really have too much importance first. So the video packages I could look past, even though when it comes to pay-per-views, you do expect video packages for the matches. But yes, the first few matches didn't feel pay-per-view, wow, this is a great match sort of stuff, but at least these matches did make it to the card. Indeed.
And then we get to Bully Ray versus Austin Aries. I think this is one of the best matches on the card, to be honest with you. What a surprise, these two had a good match. This was, even though I would obviously prefer if Bully Ray was heel and Austin Aries was face, the dynamics were different here, but they still managed to have pretty good chemistry and work it in a way. You had the Hogan leg drop and Warrior splash little moveset they did between the two, mocking Hogan doing that, and the Bully Ray doing a missile drop kick from the top rope, similar to Aries, and a top rope bully cutter, which was immense.
The bully cutter is something that I really do enjoy and look for, because the way Bully Ray just throws him up in the air and goes, damn, great move. But this match, I'm going to say, I predicted Bully Ray just because I didn't really want to see another Aries win over Bully Ray, or Bubba Ray, however you want to call him now. This match, yes, it had great moves and storytelling, especially with the Brooke Hogan thing and the Hogan thing. They're still emphasising on that. But even though this was the best match we've got tonight, I really wanted to see Bully Ray get the win and for it to continue from there.
You see, I think with this match, it didn't really matter who won as long as they got the storyline in the right direction. I think they did accomplish that slightly with this segment. You had Bully Ray bleeding. Brooke Hogan comes out to try and, take care of Bully Ray. Hogan comes out, takes his daughter away, take her to the back, etc. Aries comes to the back, gets the low blow and gets the pin. So I felt this did a good job of continuing this storyline onwards, unlike some of the segments we're going to talk about later on. Mickie James versus Terra in a Knockouts Championship match. Just one thing I want to mention here. Anyone else find it funny that the video package before the match was all about Velvet Sky, which to me made the match very inconsequential, because it was like, you had Mickie James and Terra, 2 sort of legend women in TNA in the Knockouts division, yet the match felt like it was inconsequential because it was always just going to lead to one of these 2 facing Velvet down the line, rather than focusing on the match now. It seems like they're already focusing on a possible Genesis title match with Velvet Sky.
The best way to have done this, I know my way didn't really happen, it's not going to happen.
Return next week.
I would have done this. I would have had the Go Home Show concentrate on the build-up to the match, and at the pay-per-view, had the match end the way it did, but then have Velvet return at the end of the pay-per-view and say, I'm challenging you next. Instead of just doing it on the show before, because it really, and then the video package didn't really hype up the match. No. It hyped up Velvet, so to be honest, I just think they built this match up wrong. Maybe that's why I don't really care. And also, Jesse, goddamn, whatever his freaking name is, he's getting too involved in knockout matches, and I just think it's ridiculous. But I will say this, the Mickie James involvement really helped this match to stay alive.
I mean, it was a good match, it's just that it was very inconsequential, which is not how you want to feel about pay-per-view matches. Terra wins with the Jesse Goddard's distraction, so keeping the title. It's probably going to be her versus Velvet at Genesis, you would think now.
Yeah.
The Aces and Eights versus Kurt Angle, Garrett Bischoff, Samoa Joe, and Wes Briscoe. What was that?
I really don't know.
Let's just ignore. I don't know what the hell to make of that. What? Should we talk about the match? Yeah, let's talk about the match. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what the hell's going on in this review. But with so much emphasis put on Wes Briscoe, in the video package, you were thinking something had to happen in this match. And unfortunately, at the end of the match, I was left thinking, what was the point of it? Nothing really happened. They didn't. I mean, when you got the Aces and Eights in a match on a pay-per-view with this big storyline, nothing happens, you're kind of thinking, well, this angle's just going nowhere, which is exactly why it's losing steam, like we're going to point out on Monday.
The only positivity I'll give with this is the fact that if at every pay-per-view a special thing happens, a reveal happens, it does get a bit boring, so you can predict what's going to happen every pay-per-view. So the fact it just ended the way it did without any surprises in this match, I guess it was, in a way, unpredictable, but the match went down the way I thought it was. The Aces and Eights get some offense in the match, but TNA come out on top.
So Aces and Eights lose another match. Angle looks like a right cyborg, doesn't he? Like, he's winning all these matches against Aces and Eights.
Of all the members of the FaZe team, I guess Angle was going to be the centre of attention, which I'm thinking is going to lead to probably him being one of the next targets for the Aces and Eights, or one of the members of the Aces and Eights, just a few to go forward. But again, I don't feel much direction from this match.
Underwhelming segment. I guess most of the direction will come in the main event. We'll talk about that in a minute. AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels, one last time. You know, they said before the match, these guys have faced off 115 times. You know, we didn't watch this match. I paid no attention to this match. I had no desire to watch these two go at it for the 115th time. The only thing I was interested in was how it finished and what they did with AJ's character. Daniels got the victory after doing the Styles Clash correctly, whereas AJ didn't do the Styles Clash correctly. A nice little bit of detail there. And hopefully they'll continue on with AJ's character going on a downward spiral now, as at least there's something interesting about the AJ Styles character. He's finally lost to Daniels, when before he's always beaten him.
And the fact that Daniels beat AJ without any interference, without the screwdriver that he has to try to think, it went down straight the way that made Daniels actually look good over AJ. But I feel the way it's going to go is, I think AJ's going to want to get his revenge, because the faces normally come out on top in the end. So sadly, I think this is going to continue. But I will say this, Daniel's got a pay-per-view win, so well done TNA for booking that.
Yeah, okay. Jeff Hardy versus Bobby Roode for the World Heavyweight Championship. Said in the preview video that this felt like a mid-card title match. This really did. And it's an interesting fact, actually. For the last 5 months, since July at Destination X, 5 pay-per-views now, TNA have only had 3 guys in the title scene: Bobby Roode, Jeff Hardy, and Austin Aries. That's kind of interesting, I feel.
James Storm was going to go up there, but they keep dropping the ball with him, which we've mentioned before. But I will say about this, you say it was a mid-card feel match, but the length of this match really made it feel like a main event, because it went on for a long amount of time. They really put it to the test of fighting against each other. So it may have felt like a mid-card going into it, but the match actually did feel like a main event by the end.
They had a match at Genesis last year, and they had a match on the Impact afterwards, which was very good. I mean, these two obviously have some decent chemistry in the ring. The match itself was pretty good. You had Roode focusing on the injured ribs throughout the match. You get to the end of the match where you have the Aces and Eights come out, and Roode wants them to come in the ring, and they do nothing. They allow Jeff Hardy to get the victory, and then the Aces and Eights come in the ring to take out both Roode and Hardy. Your thoughts on the Aces and Eights ending this pay-per-view, like, standing tall in the ring?
Well, the whole not coming out for when Roode, even though you might have paid them and stuff, left like, oh my gosh, what is going on? What's going to happen? But I guess there's going to be more direction between them and Roode, them and Angle, them and Jeff Hardy later on. Them being the overpowering, it made up for that match they had, so I guess they needed something to pick them back up to be important. This gave it to them, but I do question, why do they not help Roode? Why do they let Jeff Hardy retain the championship? And what direction are they going to go in from this match? But without the TNA roster coming out, it made the Aces and Eights have their moment of glory.
They just lost to Angle, Garrett Bischoff, Wes Briscoe, and Samoa Joe, and now they're out on top on the 2 challengers for the world title. And during this whole segment, I was thinking, where the hell is the TNA roster? I mean, like you said, them not coming out was a good thing in my opinion. It allowed them to get heat on themselves. But every segment they've done with the Aces and Eights, the roster have come out to help out the guys. Now, why did that not happen this time? There's just these logic flaws in TNA's booking there, really. But at least it's got some. Even though the Aces and Eights angle's kind of decreasing in my opinion, at least it's got us thinking about it in some way going towards the TV show. Will they go after the world title? Will they be involved in the main event scene? Who really knows?
I guess Terminator NJ was correct by something. They've gone after the TV title, which I think the feud may come back now this pay-per-view's over. They tease it for the world heavyweight, so I guess they've got direction, but it's still going at that slow pace. Tonight the Aces and Eights have let me down. This is not acceptable on my terms. But by the end of the night, they tried to make up for it. Roode tried to pay us off once again to do his dirty work. Well, as you just realised, Worthless mortals, we are going to have to do a bigger picture in TNA. We're going to be taking over the World Heavyweight Championship. Sooner or later, it'll be ours!
So your final thoughts, NJ, on Final Resolution 2012, the final pay-per-view of TNA's pay-per-view calendar year?
I think when it comes to the end of the year, they want it to feel like a big final pay-per-view of the year. And this, it didn't really have that standout, great match, great moment, great finish of the year. Maybe they're going to save it for the TV show. But the thing is, the pay-per-views are your important thing. So overall, this pay-per-view didn't really do its justice for my liking.
No, I mean, I felt the matches on this pay-per-view a lot of them weren't great. A lot of them I didn't really care about. There wasn't too much angle advancement in some cases. Overall, the show for me, it was one of the worst TNA offerings I've seen in quite some time. The show was quite boring in places. Like I said, there was a lot of matches I didn't care about. I don't know whether it was because I was ill, but I just could not, for the life of me, get into this show. It just was a very dull way of ending. And I think one of the worst pay-per-views since TNA in 2011. Just my personal opinion there. All my star ratings will be in the description box down below for the matches and for the overall rating. I believe I gave it a 5 or a 5.5 out of 10 or something like that.
I feel that the TV show is going to have bigger moments than the pay-per-view did, because I think they're going to start being up to their bigger pay-per-view. The 8 and 8 is going to have more direction than what this pay-per-view gave us, which is a shame, but with TNA they do concentrate more on their TV shows than the pay-per-views.
And I will leave you guys with a question. With TNA only getting around about 10,000 buys per pay-per-view, are they right to not really focus too much on the people paying their hard-earned money to buy the pay-per-views and focus instead more on their TV shows, which is more of their business-driven model? I would like to know some of your guys' thoughts down there, because this pay-per-view to me seemed like one of those pay-per-views that they didn't really put too much effort in. They were saving a lot for maybe a TV show, or I think Genesis will be the better pay-per-view, of course, bigger pay-per-view of the year. One of the biggest pay-per-views of the year for TNA.
And that's been another review from Mr. Parkin and me, NJ, the British Fist. Until next time, YouTubers, thank you very much for watching. Please share the good, the bad, and the ugly of this pay-per-view in the comments below. Until next time, YouTubers, goodbye.